Hey guys and gals, this is Ryan from Full Screen Ahead. I wanted to make a quick video on how to make an iOS app in less than about 15 minutes. You have to have Xcode from the Mac App Store, so download that on your Mac. You do need a Mac to do iOS development. That's about it. I'm trying to do this video very quickly, so whenever the next section starts, I'm going to just go for it. Let's get started.
First off, you want to open up Xcode, and we're going to start a new project. There are many different templates. You want to hit single view application. This is my name here, Ryan Cortez. I want to make a flashcard making app, let's say. In this tutorial, we're making a Swift application. This stuff down here does not matter for this particular tutorial. This is deciding where you're going to put that code. I just put it into a directory called code and hit create. What we're going to focus on this thing called a storyboard. This storyboard helps you lay out different graphical elements or UI elements that will make your application have things for your user to see. Right now it is completely blank with this white screen. I'm going to drag in a button. On the bottom right there is a object library that I can drag from. I'm going to type in the word button. It's going to filter down to that button. I'm going to drag in that button. You'll see it pop up as a square. I'm just going to drag that to the bottom left corner until I see these blue lines. And I'm going to drag the top right corner all the way to the other side. You'll see these blue lines appearing here. I'm going to go ahead and drag another button. Make sure it's center aligned and have it next to the other button. You'll see two blue lines appear. Make sure those are aligned. I'm going to grab one of the corners, make sure it reaches the other edge with a blue line. Grab the right corner, make sure it has a blue line on the right edge. We're also going to need a label. So down here where I typed button, I'm going to type label. This is a way to display text. So I'm just dragging in that label there, just making sure it's center aligned. I'm going to drag that down to the button and make sure that blue line is there. I'm going to drag one side to the far left, drag one side to the far right, making sure all of these lines appear, the center blue line and the bar on the right. I'm going to drag this other label, put it on top of it, same thing there. I want to drag it to the top of that label, drag the other corner. This time I'm going to drag it all the way to the top left, and I'm going to drag that all the way there. You're going to see so many lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't even want to count it. Put it right there. Notice these labels are left aligned. I'm going to go ahead and align them to the center by clicking them and clicking the alignment pane over here on the right. Just click that center option. So if I ran this application by hitting the run button up here with the arrow pointing to the right, we're going to see the app run and we're going to have a label, button, and button. Right now you can see that they're aligned poorly. They're not centered. So we need to apply constraint to this UI. I'm not going to explain that in this video. This video is designed more for speed. You'll notice that the buttons are very plain. So I'm going to change the background on those. I'm just clicking a button and then going into the background color section right here. Let's select yellow button and then we're going to go with a blue button down here. I want to change the text of these buttons. So if you go into text color, we could change that to maybe a white color. And why don't we keep the yellow button as that blue for now. You'll notice the text is very small. We can increase that right here and the font size right here. I'm just pressing upward on that font size to make the button font a bit bigger. And I'm going to say, so I'm going to double click the text on the button and it will allow me to edit that text. I'm going to do that for the top button. I'm going to change that to show answer, and I'm going to do that on the bottom button, and I'm going to change that to next question. I'm also going to do that for the bottom label, and that's going to be my answer, and the top label is going to be my question. Let's increase the size of that question font just a little bit, and let's increase the size of that answer just a little bit too. In order to make this answer fit no matter what, I'm going to make it 0 lines. It'll just automatically fit text no matter how many lines there are. And I'm going to hit the question button and do the exact same thing. Put it to 0 so that way it always continues to show multiple lines. Now we have a good UI, but now we're going to connect that to actual code. This is where the fun begins. We're going to hit this assistant editor button. It's the Venn diagram with the two circles. You'll notice it pops in a set of code on the right. I'm just going to expand my window here. It has a very small bit of code for us to mess with. Just to give you guys a simpler view, I'm going to erase the did receive memory warning because that's not something that will be relevant in this tutorial. I'm also going to erase the comment above and the comment here inside of the view did load section, just so it's a little simpler for you. Let's add some space right above the view did load section, and we're going to connect the label and buttons to our code so that we can change them in the future. So let's take the question section, and we're going to hold the control key while we're hitting the top label that says question, drag that over, and let go inside of the view controller class. And I'm just going to type in question label. This is going to create something called an outlet that will allow us to change what the question says. I'll go into further detail in future videos as to what an outlet is. We're going to do the same thing for the answer label right below the question label. I'm going to type in answer label and just hit connect. We're going to leave everything the way it is, and I'm just going to hit connect. Just going to tighten up the space here. And now we're going to add a connection for the buttons. We're just going to hold the control key, drag over, and instead of the connection being an outlet, we're going to change it into an action. You'll notice there's an outlet, action, and outlet collection. For now, we're going to focus on action. I'm going to call this did tap show answer. And everything looks good here. It's going to trigger anytime somebody touches inside of the show answer button. Just going to hit connect. This is the exact same thing as the next question section, holding the control key, dragging over, and I'm going to tap did tap next question. Don't forget to change your connection to an action, not an outlet, and I'm hitting connect. So now we have our labels connected and we have our buttons connected. The labels are outlets and the buttons are actions because the buttons allow interaction and we want to do something whenever that action occurs. Now let's create a few variables, things that store certain values. For now, we're going to store 3 questions. We're going to put that right below the outlet. I'm going to say let questions equal quote, and I'm going to create an array using an open bracket, and I want to put some words or a string inside of this array. So I'm going to put an open quote and say, what color is the sky? End quote. Now I want to put another set of words inside of this collection called an array. So I'm going to put a comma and then put another open quote and say, where do babies come from? And I'm going to end that quote. And I want to do one more question. So I'm going to say, how many legs does a spider have? And I'm going to end that quote. I don't need a comma anymore because I'm done adding words into this array. So I'm just going to hit tab, or you can use the right arrow and it will give you a close bracket. You'll notice we have close bracket, some words, comma, another set of words, comma, another set of words. All the words have to be contained within a quote. So now we have some questions. Now we need answers, right? So we're going to say let answers, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Answers equal open bracket, blue. Where do babies come from? It's complicated. How many legs does a spider have? 8. So we've created a set of questions and answers, and now we're going to make them display inside of our code. Inside of this view did load section between the brackets, we're going to type question label. You'll notice that it automatically completes for you if you just hit a down arrow and enter. It says question label, hit dot text, question label dot text equals questions, and we're going to say first, dot first. That means it's going to take the first set of words that we have, what color is the sky, and display that in the question label. We're going to do the same thing with the answers label dot text equals answers dot first. Now if we run our code again by hitting the play button, when it loads you'll see that the first label is what color is the sky, and the next one is blue. But you'll notice that blue is not hidden, right? We want to only show the answer when we hit the show answer button. So let's make the text of the answer white so it's hard to see. So we're going to click the answer button, go into the color of the label right here under color, turn it to white, and now it is invisible. In order to make it visible again, we need to go into the did tap show answer section, put an enter inside the curly braces, and we're going to change the color of the answer label. We're going to say answer label dot text color equals UI color dot black. So now when we tap the show answer button, it will turn black, but it will always be black. So we need some way to reset that. I want to make the text color white again whenever you tap the next question button. So I'm going to go into the did tap next question section, and I'm going to put in answer label dot text color equals UI color dot white. That will make the answer label disappear again whenever we hit the next question button. So now we need to make it where when you hit the next question button, it goes to the next question and next answer. So we'll need to make something that keeps track of that. Let's make a variable, var current question equals 0, because arrays or collections start at 0. We use an array to store our questions and our answers. This is a computer sciencey thing, and I'll work on making a video that explains that. I'll now go to the next question method. Inside of these curly braces, we want to say if current question plus 1 is greater than or equal to questions.count, open curly brace. So then the instructions will only happen if this is true. Now I'm going to say current question equals 0. So if the current question plus 1 is equal to or greater than the current number of questions that we have, represented by questions.count, then I want to set it back to 0 to reset what the current question is. So we'll go back to the very beginning. I also want to say else. I want the current question to increase by 1. So I'm going to say plus equals 1. It'll take the current question and add 1 to it. After that, I want to display the current question. So we'll say question label dot text is equal to questions, open bracket, current question, and answer label dot text is equal to answers, current question. If you put a number inside of the brackets, it will go to that specific question. The first time that we display this, the question will be 0, and we will display the first question here in viewed load. Then when the button's tapped, it will increase by 1 to current question 1, and then we'll display that here. The question that will be displayed is where do babies come from? And then if we hit the button a third time, we'll add 1 plus 1 equals 2. When current question equals 2, how many legs does a spider have gets displayed. When we hit did tap next question again, current question will equal 2. 2 plus 1 is going to be equal to questions.count, making our if statement true. And then inside of our if statement, current question will then be set to 0, resetting our questions back to the beginning. Let's hit the run button and test out our code. So it says, what color is the sky? Show answer. It is blue. Hit the next question, where do babies come from? Show the answer. It's complicated. Hit the next question, how many legs does a spider have? Show answer, 8. We hit the next question again, and it goes back to the very beginning. What color is the sky? Show answer. Blue. If you want, you can use this as a study aid. Just fill out whatever questions you want inside of the questions array, and then fill out whatever answers you want inside of the answers array. Congratulations, you have made a fully fledged iOS app. You can now plug your phone into the computer and send that over to your phone if you so choose. Other than that, thank you for watching. I hope you guys can subscribe. If you do like it, that would mean the world to me. And if you could provide some feedback and comments, maybe you like some part of the video but not others. Maybe I need to dive in more depth or slow down. Other than that, thanks, and I hope you continue to go full screen ahead.